On this episode of the Third Wheel Podcast, join us as we talk about Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Does JK Rowling fix all our issues from the last book? Does Harry do something? Does Voldemort not show up? Find out. Stay tuned. Welcome to another episode of the Third Wheel Podcast. I'm Caleb.
I'm Shabs.
And we have a very special guest today here to talk with us about Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
I'm Shabs. Oh, wait, I did that already.
Yes, you did. All right, we have Sydney. Say hi, Sydney.
Hi.
All right, Sydney, we usually like to start off the episode talking about how we met. So I want you to please tell everybody in our audience the wonderful story of how we crossed paths.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes.
Your version's way better.
So the fall of 2020.
Terrible year.
Oh, yeah, rough. We were in a small group together at church. And the people who hosted it, we were at their house. And my first impression of Kayla was that we would never be friends.
That's true. I came out swinging.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me hit the button for that. We have a button for this.
Wait, was that for her or was that for you?
That was for me. We'd never be friends, she said, originally.
My gosh.
Yeah.
You're
But
right.
Yeah.
So what did I say that set you off so bad?
Honestly, it wasn't even that one particular thing set me off. You were just so in your face about everything, and I was like,
It's true. I was very
Bro.
abrasive.
chill.
Yeah.
It's day one.
That's right. I was too cocky back then. I had issues.
Even with your friends?
We weren't friends yet.
It's true.
Wow.
Yeah. She's always been a good sport about it, though. Okay. She never she never treated me differently.
I guess I just knew you pre-cocky Caleb. It's kind of interesting.
That is true. You caught me at a very low point in my life.
You were kicking me when I was most down.
All right. What do we have on the agenda for today, chaps?
All right. Well, we are continuing our amazing journey through the Hogwarts universe, a.k.a. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Did you watch the movie yet?
No, I did not.
Okay. I'm glad. Because I watched the movie before I finished reading the book, and I was very disappointed.
So no, I'm only watching the movies after I read the books.
That's good.
And
Good choice.
I've been disappointed every single time.
Did you hear our discussion before, Sydney? On the last couple books?
Yeah, I definitely got through the whole Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah.
I got part of the way through the first one. I just I worked my way backwards. And
I got you. The audio went bad on the first episode anyway, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not proud of that episode.
But
Mistakes were made.
It was a good kickoff, I think. It was a good conversation. I just realized kind of on the way up here, I'm like, you know what? It's very rare for me to get into a franchise that's already so established with its own super fan base.
Yeah.
And for me to actually get into it, it's rare. And the fact that I'm actually into it now, I'm like, okay, this is interesting. It's more than I thought it was going to be. I didn't really know if I was going to be involved in it as much as I am now. And by I say involved, I mean I'm actually reading things on it now and doing a little bit more research and looking forward to the next books and
Yeah.
the movies and whatnot. Even though
I
again,
think we all got our wands in the ring now.
yeah,
If I would be so bold to say.
I think
Well, it's very
so.
bold of you
But-
to
I
say.
definitely knew I was gonna like it. I didn't know I was gonna love it though. So
Oh, no.
yeah,
What have I done?
I know, right?
Okay, hold on. Alrighty. Book 3. Did you like it, and was it your favorite one out of the other ones?
Well, I did really like it. Yes. Is it my favorite one so far? Dude, I think it had.
Uh-oh.
Well, no, not uh-oh. I'm just trying to think because both this one and the last one were really good, but I think I like this one a little bit more.
Okay.
There's a lot more relatable drama, I think, definitely. And I'm very much in. I love the character development, and again, book after book after book, I'm like, she is really, really good at suspense and mystery and trying to piece things together and keeping the audience sort of out of the loop with the characters
Yeah.
rather than characters figure out things before the audience or the audience figure out things before the characters. I thought I had it this time. I was like, okay, I know what the plot's going to be. I know what the twist is going to be. I was completely wrong. I'm like, all right, that's
yeah.
awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I couldn't see you predicting the ending to this one.
No, that was crazy.
By the way, full spoilers for this book, book
yeah,
3.
yeah.
Show them your copy, Sydney. Yours is way better than mine.
It's also brand new, so
Yeah, look at
Hard
that.
copy.
Isn't that amazing? That's beautiful. I'm shocked.
it's embossed. That's raised.
And it comes
You
with
feel that.
stickers.
On my Audible
It's
copy,
it's Braille.
it has the night bus on it instead of the
That's so cool.
yeah.
Okay, so the what they always do first is they deal with the Dursleys.
Right.
So
as tradition.
how did you like how they did the Dursleys? Well, actually, Sydney, the third book, how is that for you out of the 7? Now, you've read them all. You're a super fan. You love the franchise.
Yeah.
You read them several times a year.
Twice. Well, that's...
Wow.
Like, pretty consistently?
Yeah. Yeah, always over winter break and then always over the summer.
Over the holidays, like Harry Potter would.
Naturally.
Okay.
Wow, good one.
So you're a big JK Rowling fan. Are you reading anything under whose pseudonym?
I'm not. I've done obviously the Harry Potter series, the Fantastical Beasts series, what's been put out so far, and then honestly I've gotten a lot more into like biographical nonfiction.
Okay. How many books you read this year? You've read a bunch, huh?
I'm on book 62.
Woo!
Yep.
That's insane. Wait, are you counting these twice? 'Cause that's not fair.
I know. I actually don't count those at all.
Okay.
Oh
So she's read like 80 books.
It's worse.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But anyway, okay. So again, I might have missed it. Out of all 7, where does this rank for you?
Prisoner of Azkaban is top for me
Wow.
across the board.
Unfortunate.
You hear that,
'cause
Shaps?
That means it's all downhill from here.
No. Not that it is like
Well, that's what you-
so
that's
far
what you
and high
said.
above like every other book, but just for me, I mean, in the movies, like it's peak Harry, and I just feel like you're talking about the character development. So much of the character development is laid out in this book, and so many of the chess pieces. You kind of get a clearer picture of okay, where is J.K. Rowling going with this, and you get kind of more of a sense of who really is Harry, who really is Hermione, who really is Ron. And I think that I really connected deeply with the characters in this book, more so, and it just laid that foundation for the rest of the series.
Yeah, I actually would agree with you on that. So the third one will be my favorite out of all the ones we've read so far.
Okay.
I had finished book 2 previously, as y'all know.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think this is, I just feel like they've kind of gotten better as we've gone on.
Yeah. I mean, I remember having way more gripes with book 2 than I do with book 3.
Yeah, for sure.
I still love book 2, just because it had so many jaw-dropping moments that I'm going to remember.
It's a solid mystery, too.
Yeah, honestly, like murder mystery, that's awesome.
I remember book 2 is the one I was least familiar with going into the series before I had read them the first time. And I was like, okay, what is in the Chamber of Secrets? I have no clue.
That book 2 was definitely more of a I can't put this down. This book was more of I can put it away, but like I'm almost like at the end of the day, like I think that's like a good stopping point. Like in the book, like whenever they're done with their day, like I feel like I'm done with my day. I don't feel like I have to keep on going. It feels very like natural and progressive, linear, or like storytelling wise. So I didn't feel like I had to keep on going. So it wasn't like super catchy. But it still kept me going with like the intrigue and like the character development, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Well, to go back to your first question with the Dursleys, to start it off,
I had a question for Sydney, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So did you agree or disagree with our critiques of the first 2 books?
Okay, so whenever you were mentioning about the Chamber of Secrets, and I don't think it was on the podcast, but it was like a while ago, you'd made this comment that you were like, I just don't like the Chamber of Secrets, like doesn't make any sense to me, and I took a lot in me not to say something.
I don't remember that.
I do, it happened.
I didn't say that.
You definitely made a
like
comment.
the Chamber of Secrets?
Yeah, he said like specifically he's like, this is my least favorite, like I just don't understand it.
Did I text that to you?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I did say that.
Well,
That's
that's a little off subject if it was between like off the show.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember you saying that.
No,
on the
no.
air at least.
But what about what I said on the air? Do you remember? My biggest things were Harry Potter. He's not a good wizard. And then 2, Voldemort is the worst villain out of
Voldemort just needs to keep his lack of nose out of the business.
Honestly, Voldemort is not my favorite villain in the series.
That's good. Thank
Is he anyone's
So
favorite? I'm sorry.
you. Is he?
That's a great question. If it is, you should probably comment and let us know.
Yeah,
if he
please
is.
let us know.
As far as Harry and his wizarding prowess, I think that the movies really kind of make him seem like some like godlike super wizard. But the books do not portray him as such. Like, he is just this average boy, escaped, because of his mom.
Average with a capital A.
Yes. 100%.
Love triumphs over evil.
Right.
It breaks all magic. Okay.
All right, well, let's not go back too far
That's
into
fine.
book 2.
But so you would disagree with our critiques of it. You like Dobby the elf, don't you?
I think Dobby is very annoying in the second book, but like his character develops a lot more, and so by the end, like I won't do any spoilers, but by the end of his like character arc or whatever you want to call it, I definitely was like very emotional. So
I still stand by what I said about Dobby in the book 2, how I think he truly was trying to help Harry in every way that he believed he was, even if it wasn't helpful. Which to me, like, yeah, it's kind of a Jar Jar arc, but I still found it endearing and kind and nice.
Well, Sydney, you're not the only one who said that. We've gotten several comments about how Dobby gets better later. I don't know what y'all are talking about, but I'm gonna go ahead and pretend I didn't hear it.
Well, let's get right into book 3.
Yeah, let's get into book 3. So we start off with the obligatory Dursley scene.
Yes.
Okay. So you got Dudley, you got Uncle Vernon, you got Aunt Petunia. Okay.
And then you got the sister.
Now, who's the sister?
Aunt Marge.
Aunt Marge.
Yeah.
We got to consult the codex over here.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna need that because I'm terrible with names.
That's true. I'm gonna need your help for this.
Dude, Harry freaking standing up for himself. Like,
well, he did that last book too.
not really. What are you talking about?
Well, maybe I'm thinking of the movie where he yells at his uncle and aunt.
I mean, like, this is the first time he's been like, "Don't freaking mess with me." Like, beginning and end. Like, this book, he freaking cast magic for the first time on someone in his life that's a muggle, Like, that's pretty crazy. And actually, like, it kind of, I don't know if the books go into this at all. It probably doesn't. But there is sort of like this very, especially after reading the end of this book, a very like unhealthy complex going on. So like you have this super wizard that can literally do anything to these muggles, these normal people, and their only response to it is to be abusive, And it just, I don't know if the books go into that at all, but it sounds like they're setting up for something like really crazy. I don't know if it goes into that at all, but like, I can't imagine being in like the minds of the Dursleys having this kid, who's like basically a freak in their eyes and can also like say one word and probably light the house on fire and get away with it, like, but also for their response to just be abusement and like suppressing and like keeping him down. Like, I don't think it's healthy either way, but I think it was funny and that he actually, well, the way he used his magic, but also the fact that he finally stand up for himself. He's like, I'm leaving. I'm done with this,
Right.
So good for Harry. Like he's definitely grown up a little bit,
Yeah, I very much enjoyed Cornelius Fudge in this book.
Yeah.
The Minister of Magic. But do you have any thoughts to what he just said, Sydney, about him being able to stand up for himself and?
Yeah, I have a lot. Caleb, you know this. I have thoughts about like everything.
I feel like he could
Well, I have
easily.
to ask you, otherwise you won't chime in.
I'm sure a lot of people would say this. I think he could easily be a villain. Funny enough,
Harry.
Like, well, that's what I'm trying to get at. Because he's growing up in this abusive household where like the only way he can stand up for himself is to use his magic. Like, that's
evil.
That is set up for a villain. I'm not saying he's going to do that. I know he's not going to become a villain, but I'm just saying like. I think a lot of people have I think a lot of people have like pointed this out before where like he could so easily become that.
The real prisoner of Azkaban was the friends we made along the way.
So I don't
He
know
was
if
inside us all along.
I don't know if you've ever thought of that before, but
friendship.
just like I mean that's my outsider perspective of reading into this and looking at this. I'm like, holy crap! Like he just uses magic, like, and then like didn't really have remorse for it either. He was just like, and here's the thing: that's a totally realistic response to this abuse. So I'm like, this is like, but this is also like how serial killers get made, like, so in a way, like they talk about Sirius Black in the very beginning, how he's also like a Muggle criminal and a wizard criminal. Like, he could become, and I know how the book ends, but he could become a Sirius Black. I think he could eventually become like this wizard killer, if he remains in the Dursleys too long. But that's my character analysis, essentially, of what's going on. I don't think the books goes in that direction at all, but I found it interesting.
But, I agree. That's that's like something they could have explored a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it was mostly played for laughs, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it would change the tone too much if you went down that road, even just a little bit.
Right,
We don't need a Rey Skywalker moment where she has a vision of her being evil. Did you read Cursed Child, Sydney? Harry Potter and the Cursed Child? It's not a JK Rowling written book, but that's the, Broadway theater script. Did you read that?
Like when it first came out.
Okay. Was that any good? Because I kind of wanted to read that.
I thought it was okay. I mean, it's worth a read if you are invested in the Harry Potter universe and you just, kind of want some more literature on it.
That explores, an alternate timeline where Voldemort won, I think.
Okay.
So, I don't know if Harry's alive in that, though. Is he? He doesn't join voices.
I can't say anything.
Fine.
So, okay, well, with that in mind, remember what I said for the very beginning, because it actually plays into what I want to say later about the end of the book and what I really liked about it. But unfortunately, I just know they're not going to. I know J.K. Rowling's not going to do anything about it, which is unfortunate. It's her story. I get it, but I'm like, oh, it would have been so interesting. Same problem I have with Rey, actually. But okay, so going forward though, it was like one of those generic, fun, whimsical. Oh, the Night Bus. That's one of those magical. Holy crap! What is this? It would make a great ride one day. You know what I'm saying?
Right. She always finds very creative ways to get him to Hogwarts.
Book. I noticed that too. I think it's been different every book so far.
It has been different every book.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, there's flying cars, there's night buses, there's the Hogwarts Express.
Yeah.
They're very good.
What was I? It felt like a while ago, just because I was at the very beginning of the book. There was something interesting that happened around the Night Bus. Is that where he saw the dog for the first time?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. When did he figure out it was a quote-unquote Grimm? Was that later?
I think that was during Trelawney's lesson.
Yeah. Okay, so that came later. So
I remembered her name.
There was a lot more set up from the very beginning.
Yeah.
I noticed that there were little details, and there were subtle details, not in-your-face details, which I really liked. And then they referenced them again going forward, which I really enjoyed. Do you have anything to say about that segment before I move on just to the train?
The Night Bus?
Yeah. I don't know if it's so much happened.
No.
He did meet someone, right?
I like now this might have been just the movie, but I like the talking head that was jangling. I thought that was cool.
It was just the movie, by the way. They're not in the book.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
You forget anything I just said.
You beta fan.
That's why I say don't watch the movie before you read the book. It messes you up.
Yeah, and I like the idea of the Night Bus.
Yeah.
I'm again, just so much world building, making everything relatable and just everything makes sense,
sort of. But parts of me get bugged when I'm like, okay, where was the Night Bus last time when they missed the Hogwarts
but here's
Express?
the thing: it's either if you're going to criticize her about not setting up things Brooks prior, you're gonna have problems with everything. So in my mind,
I can agree with that.
I'm going to put aside my critique of you didn't set up everything.
Yeah.
I've realized it's fact now. She doesn't set up for everything. Probably little to nothing, honestly.
Because next book, same thing.
Yeah, which I'm like, okay, I would get upset if it was my critique every single book. So I'm not even going to get upset anymore. It's a way of telling a story. I don't like it when authors say, no, it was all planned from the beginning.
Right.
And clearly it wasn't.
And I don't think she's ever said that.
I don't think she ever has. So I'm not going to hold that against her.
Yeah.
People say that for her, but I don't think she's ever said that before. So I'm not going to hold that against her. A lot of authors do that. So again, moving on, I like how she's at least setting up this world now.
Yeah.
And she is getting better. She's getting deeper about it. And she's going to continue, I think, on this path of just making everything relatable and realistic in their wizarding world, which is really cool. I think next is the train, right? When they get to the train, or does he go to...
Well, he meets Cornelius Fudge first.
He does meet Fudge. Where did he meet them? For whatever reason, the beginning of the book is a little fuzzy to me.
The village, right? What was that village called?
Yeah.
Dagon Alley?
He goes to the Leaky Cauldron. Is where he gets dropped off at.
That's right. And then he meets up with... When does he meet up with the Weasleys?
So they come after. So it's a little bit different here in book versus movie. So in the book... This is where, Cornelius Fudge is like, oh my gosh, thank goodness, we've been waiting for you, oh my gosh, he definitely is very much, he's portrayed very differently book to movie, he is very, very much like not put together and kind of like this bumbling, like clearly elected politician that you would find in the book. And then in the movie, he's just like put together, like kind of almost more of a sinister character, I think, in the movie. But yeah, so he gets there. In the movie, Fudge is the one that gives him his books. In the book, it's Hagrid that sends it to him.
Yeah.
And then this is where he learns about, like, Sirius Black is on the loose. And then I think it's like the next morning he wakes up and then the Weasleys and Hermione are there.
Oh, that's what it was, though. He points out, Harry calls him out on it, and he's basically like, well, I should be expelled for this, right? I use magic. And he's like, no, don't worry about it. You know, we already talked to your guardians, you know, we sorted it all out, you know. And he's like, but like, I committed a serious crime. He's like, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're just good. We're going to get you to Hogwarts and it's all going to be fine.
Yeah.
And then you're like, she's very good at setting up characters to be sinister. I think I found him to actually be sinister, and that
I was gonna say
afterwards I'm like, oh yeah, he's just stupid. But like at that moment I was like, oh yeah, he's definitely clearly hiding something.
I'd have to disagree with you. I think he's very sinister. Okay, he sweeps
you think so?
He sweeps things under the rugs. Like, we're finally getting into some political stuff.
I think like I don't think he's not a mastermind. It kind of feels like there's a mob, which kind of is. There's a mob boss like on top of him that sort of is like threatening, which I think we figure out is like Malfoy's father. So
sure,
or just Malfoy.
I feel like that's less of an issue though as the books go on.
Really?
Maybe I'm going too far ahead. Like I think Fudge is like his own entity.
Well, the thing is though, they reference it so many times that Malfoy is like intimidating the Ministry, and like everyone's scared of him. So I think Fudge is in that category.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that. However, I very much enjoy that she's trying to dip into politics a little bit. You got people above Dumbledore. You got people above the committee that
and then Dumbledore will actually like subscribe to their authority sometimes.
Yeah,
which I'm like, okay, cool. Like, there's respect there. There's like there's structure there, and it shows that the characters take it seriously, which means like the audience should take it seriously. You know,
right?
Because if all the characters just blew off the Ministry of Magic, then no one would really care. Like, who cares what happens, you know?
Yeah, and they're very prevalent in this one. You know, they got a firm grip on the school this time.
Holy crap!
Yeah, so this is a darker book.
Very much so.
Okay, but it actually gets darker than the fourth one.
Nice.
It gets so dark you can't see. I'm not joking.
All right, moving on. So, okay, what happens next?
So then after they're there,
Did you forget already, Chef?
So, okay, I'll explain that real quick. The reason I'm a little fuzzy is because I read like a quarter of the book weeks and weeks ago.
Okay.
And then this week is when I read the rest of it.
Did you like the evil book, though, that was like biting everybody?
That's later, dude.
the Book of Monsters is there.
Yeah.
He opens it, so, okay.
I thought that was with Hagrid's class.
Yeah,
but he got it at the Lakey Cauldron.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the movie he does. The
Okay,
book,
perfect.
he opens it in his home, or his room in the Dursleys' home,
This
actually.
is a rough opening to the book.
Yeah.
Chefs, we gotta jog your memory here. Okay.
Well, that's fine.
You're
And then
confusing
I'll
our audience.
Sorry.
We're losing subs right now as we speak.
I see the live counter. Oh, they're all gone.
God has forsaken this podcast.
Well, then help me remember, and then I'll tell you kind of what I thought about it, just for the first part.
Do you remember the book that was biting the book owner? That was really funny. And then like they gave it to Hagrid, and Hagrid's like, oh, I thought it was funny, as it's attacking everybody.
Okay, so that makes sense, because then he brings it to his class later, and everyone's like, "What is this? This is awful. This is not funny at all." He's like, "I think it's funny because what do you have to like stroke it? You have to pet it or something for it to like get treated like an animal." I'm like, "That's really clever."
He's like, I thought it was hilarious.
He's just like bleeding all over.
Yeah. Dude, I love Hagrid so much.
Dude, oh, yeah, it's awesome.
Because at the end of the book, they're like, maybe we should put some dragons out front. And then it's like,
he's like,
Hagrid would like that.
He's all good. Dude, he will actually get a child killed one day if he's just like...
No kidding.
Legitimately.
Yeah, because like the hippogriffs were cool. I know Malfoy's the one that messed it up, but that's not like an opening lesson animal.
No, they had a point.
You're right.
All right, well, keeping on track.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's skip ahead to the train then, because that's when I remember, that's why I start remembering really well.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's where we first see the Dementors.
Yeah, so it starts off really normal, because they're on the train in almost every book, right?
Yeah, does Neville show up?
Neville,
does he pop in? He's like, hey, I lost my frog again.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He does.
Poor Neville.
Poor Neville.
Poor Neville.
Until book 7, I think that's all I gotta say. Poor Neville. Except,
Before-
well, actually, when they start forming Dumbledore's army, that's
Before
when
go,
Stop.
yo.
He hasn't read
Bleep
anything.
that out, please.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean anything to you yet. But it will. It
Don't do
will.
that.
Please
do
don't.
that.
Oh,
do
sorry.
that. Okay, so
I knew this would happen.
I'm only thinking of Lord of the Rings now. So on the train, I have a question. Is this my bad memory, or was Scabbers never with Ron up until this point? Was he always Ron's pet?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay.
this is where book and movie differ, though, because in the book,
I don't remember him in the books.
Yeah, so in the book, after they're done at the Leaky Cauldron, they go to Diagon Alley to get like their books and whatnot.
Which book are you talking about?
This one.
This one.
Prisoner
Okay,
of Azkaban. Yeah. And that's where they go to this magical menagerie, and that's where Hermione gets Crookshanks.
The cat. Yeah.
And that
And
cat's
then-
not in the book. I mean, in the movie, right? Crookshanks.
She is.
No,
Oh.
it's a major character actually.
I know, but I was like, I don't remember Crookshanks
Really?
in the movie.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
at all.
She's not like she's not as obvious, I think, in the movie as she is in the books, which is maybe where.
Okay. I feel like I just watched it and I was like, wasn't there a cat supposed to be in this?
Okay, but Scabbard specifically.
Yeah, they
Was
talk
he-
about.
Was he always in the books? Because I don't remember him in the books.
So they say that in the movies he's like a family pet, like he's
Right.
been there forever. But in the
Like-
books, no.
Yeah, that's what I was thought. Okay, I'm not
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Because like in the movies, I know I saw him in the movies. I'm like, I don't remember this rat in the books.
No.
And it makes sense if you're making the movies because you're like, okay, I'm setting up for this character.
Hold
right?
on. No, Scabbards is in
I
the
don't
books.
remember him, dude.
He is.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. And he's always had him. He's like, yeah, he's been in the family for ages. He doesn't do much.
That was in this
The
book.
movie. Yeah.
No, it was in book 2 as well. Or at least book 1. Because he always got everything secondhand from his brothers.
I don't know. I felt like that was.
That's one of the things that I was impressed she actually planted early on. I remember that specifically.
If that is
Yeah.
true, then I'm impressed.
Yeah,
But
I was
I'm-
impressed.
I'm just like really completely like blanking on whenever he popped up in the other books. So if that's true, then awesome.
Yeah,
Good
it was
job.
always on the train though, because remember cause they brought how he bit Crab and Goyle for them, in one of their earlier encounters.
Okay, I do remember that.
Yes,
I think.
that was in there. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
Scabbards has been in the
So
books.
Scabbards has been in the
Yeah.
books.
But I remember. Okay, so whenever Hermione did get Crookshanks, they talk about Scabbers,
Yeah,
and they say like, "Oh, he's just a normal rat. He'll live like for 3 years,"
yeah.
Right.
which is obviously a little bit of foreshadowing. Not that you know that at the beginning, but
yeah.
it's just funny. You're like, "Oh,
Well, I love it when you figure out who Scabbards is, and they were like, "Didn't you find it weird that he's still alive after 12 years?" He's like, "I took really good care
Dude,
of it."
I was dying when Ron was like, "You've been in my bed."
All right, that was hilarious because he's like, "Haven't I been a good pet to you,
Yeah,
Ron?"
"You've
And he's
been in my
like,
bed.
let me find out how the book put it because he's
Dude,
like,
I can't wait for the movie reaction. Just like,
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that Ron actor, he's funny.
All right, go ahead and keep talking. I'm gonna find that.
So the rest of what happened on the train specifically, they introduced a new professor, quote unquote introduce. He's sleeping, but Professor Lupin, who I thought was going to be like another throwaway character, but he actually turns out to be one of my favorite characters so far.
Dude, Lupin is the best thing
Lupin is
ever.
like, I thought he was too nice. I was like, okay, this guy's got something, he's got something about him that's off, but because he's so freaking nice to Harry. And just to everyone, but like Lupin generally is the best, which is really cool. I'm glad that we can just like characters and they turn out to be fine. The Dementors, the setup for them, if I didn't know every little freaking thing about them, I kind of wish I didn't know about them. Like, I wish I didn't know what their design was before. I wish I didn't see 100 clips, online about them. Regardless, it was still really cool and showing scene, to set up. And then, like, it was a little confusing because, like, I couldn't really tell what happened and what didn't because Harry passed out.
Right.
And people didn't really... The people, like, acted like it didn't happen or something, which was really weird. So I was a little confused about that. Because one of you described that scene, like, how you remember it. Because what I remember is Harry... Or everyone sees them, the lights go out, everyone sees the Dementors, but Harry specifically passes out, then he wakes up, and no one can remember what happened.
Isn't that because they drain the soul out of everybody that they come across?
I don't think they drained their soul, but like they targeted Harry specifically, and he was the only one who like remembered it. There was something like in that.
Well, they targeted him because he has so much like suffering in him, I believe, right?
I don't know
Dementors.
if they actually went over that.
You remember, Sydney?
I think it's kind of just because of, with his scar, there's a lot of things that come with it, but I think that scar had like magical like traces of Voldemort's magic, and so they're Dementors, right? Like they're and so they are able to, whenever they see something that looks similar to what.
Well, okay, so what is described in the book, though, is what I'm asking. Not necessarily what.
Well, he passed out, and then he wakes up.
And everyone's
like, dude, you passed out. And he's the only one that passed out. And he's upset about it because he's like, why am I the one they targeted?
Okay, so I'm
the only one that passed out.
Because then I think that is where it is. It's where he developed his fear of the Dementors.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then Lupin comes out, and he's sleeping the whole time. He just wakes up like Jesus. He's like, shut up! And they're like, they're gone. I really like that. But yeah, freaking creepy as hell. And then like later on, you just see them swarming the castle, and it's like, oh crap, I have to deal with these now every day.
And I love how there's conflict between Dumbledore and the Dementors. Like he hates them, and he hates how they're the new status quo.
Right.
What I love is in the books how whenever there's a presence that's outside of Dumbledore's control that takes over the school, like you feel it because now their activities are restricted.
Right.
The curfews are stronger. Harry's more limited on what he can do.
Yeah.
It
presents like a lot of extra challenges, and also I liked how they didn't sign his permission slip to go to Hogsmeade, because then that means he has to be creative about it.
Yeah.
So it sets up a lot of ingenuity on his part. Well, not his part per se, but the idea of having these things, like, holy crap, this is the way they're described. The fact that these are like allied with the wizards, and you don't really know where their allegiance is. It's kind of described as them being like animals, like all they want to do is feed.
Right.
But they're you can negotiate with them, but at the same time they're like, it's almost like packing with demons. It's really weird because like they truly have a hunger that trumps everything else, all their motivations.
Yeah.
And Dumbledore, it says that he talks to them, and like no one else, I don't think, talks to them.
Yeah.
And they're upset with him. He's upset with them, and they like loosely sort of follow his like not orders but command, his wishes. So it's like, what are these things? Like they're so weird. That's what I love about them so much, because like, there's a lot of mystery. They don't really talk about where they came from. They just talk about like how, they're the Azkaban guards, and like that's about it. But they don't really share what their allegiance is.
Because Azkaban's not even an actual prison, if I'm correct. It's just like an island, and it's just there's so many Dementors there that are feeding off the.
So prisoners. I actually thought we were going to see it, but we actually don't see that in this book, which is fine.
Yeah.
It just adds up to the mystery, I suppose. But like, is it described like where they come from or who they align with, or do they just serve the Ministry, or are they like sort of adjacent to the Ministry? I don't think they're like actually a part of the structure at all, right?
No.
Yeah,
no,
I think they're literally just...
They're kind of their own thing.
They
obey the Ministry of Magic in a way, but in the way that like prison guards would, So like So here in Texas, TDC is the prison system, right? So you got they work for the state. Right. So it's the same thing. They're like state employees. They have no soul. They just go to work. You know what I'm saying? They kind of work the same work philosophy. Okay, they just want to feed. They want to feed off of love and memories and magic.
American prison guards, got
pretty much.
They want to feed off your magic.
That's it.
No,
please don't suck my magic out.
that's a really cool idea. Thank you for putting it that way. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But like, I like that definitely, because you're always wondering. Because the whole time during the book, they are sort of writing the line of what Dumbledore said.
Yep.
And they're like sometimes attacking students. It's like, holy crap,
and
these things are dangerous.
You got these state correctional officers that have to answer to a school headmaster.
Right.
And there's a disconnect where the two hierarchies kind of hate each other.
So especially because of the fear that Harry has, like it begs the question, like, is this truly a necessary evil?
Right.
Or is this even worse?
Yeah.
Because like these things literally are just as dangerous as Sirius Black, if not more so. Because they said they target the soul, not just the body, which is way worse.
Yeah.
That's freaking terrifying. So Harry gets to school. Suddenly they introduce a whole bunch of new classes, which I really like.
Let me ask Sydney, what's your favorite Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher?
Oh, that's easy.
Well, hold on.
Yeah. I was going to say Lupin.
Even I know that. I haven't read all the books. Dude, there's never going to be a better one. Unless Snape gets in that role, there's never going to be another better one.
Right. So, I mean, out of all three...
They're all evil. So like, out of all the evil ones.
Yeah, no kidding. I forgot the first guy was straight up Voldemort.
Yeah, Quirrell was just kind of like...
1/10 Voldemort, yes.
Yeah, Quirrell just seemed like, I don't know, kind of like an adult. I don't know how else to say that. Like, kind
Quirrell
of...
was pretty boring.
Yeah.
Until like the very end. But he still
Sure.
was. Like, it was the fact, the only thing that made him interesting was that he had Voldemort in his head. True. I will say...
I thought that killed his character, honestly, if I'm being honest.
Gilderoy Lockhart, I love.
Yeah.
I will say that. But like as a character, not as a dark arts teacher.
Yep.
Lockhart is hilarious. I wish he came back, but because I love him.
Were you shocked that he was... Oh, shoot. I lost my thought. Oh, Lupin. Were you shocked he was a werewolf at the end? Was that a good reveal for you?
Was I shocked?
Yeah.
I was.
Surprise you?
I was more surprised by what the mystery was, not that there was a mystery. I knew he was hiding something, definitely. But like the fact that he was a werewolf, I'm like, oh my god, he just got cool.
His last name is Lupin. Like, that was the biggest... I was like, oh, werewolf. Like...
Of course, Hermione figured it out before everyone.
Yeah.
I knew from the very beginning. I just
We know
didn't
you
say
did.
it. Shut up.
We know you
Oh,
did.
that's the thing. In this book, if someone tells her to shut up, Snape does. I'm
Yeah.
like, holy crap.
Finally.
That scene made me so mad for the
You
movie.
know it all. I'm like, oh, Snape, honesty. That's good. But okay, so...
Can we talk about Quidditch? We haven't actually sat down and had a good discussion about Quidditch yet. And I've been meaning to talk about it for now 3 books.
Let's talk about the... I'm sorry. What's the class called about telling the future?
Divination.
Divination. Let's talk about that real quick.
Fine.
Because it's a new class, and it's relatively in the very beginning.
It's very boring.
Yeah.
It is a little boring, and to be fair, I don't remember quite what the tellings were and how they relate to the end of the book. Kind of like the whole Dobby plan, you know. Like I don't quite remember how they.
She only got one prediction, right?
Yeah, but like that was supposed to. Well, Harry got one, I think, as well, right?
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be like the thing that sets up the rest of the book. To be honest, I thought the book was fine without it. I don't remember the divination at all, you know, but I think it said something about him dying.
Yeah.
Because it was a red herring because all it did was talk about how he was going to die, and then everyone said ignore it. And he's like, I can't ignore it because I'm seeing grins everywhere. And he's like, no, you're not. Just get over it. So it was a bit of a red herring, but like I don't know. I feel like we could have done without it, to be honest.
What about you, Sydney? What do you think? Divination.
So divination, I think there's 2 interesting points from this class. The first one is in the book, Parvati and Lavender are like fangirls for Trelawney. And so whenever she makes that prediction that someone's going to be gone from the class by Easter and then Hermione leaves, which is my other point about this class, is they're like, oh my gosh, Professor, you were right. Like, oh.
Yeah, that's the exact same impression I got.
No one takes it seriously. Even Dumbledore makes fun of it.
Dumbledore.
He's like... So
McGonagall.
Okay, it's hilarious as like a joke.
Yeah.
But then like they try to it's weird. They try to play both, or she tried to play both. She tried to make it a joke, but also tried to make it like a actual threat.
Yeah.
But it turned out it wasn't a threat like at all, which is kind of funny, but a lot of times dedicated to is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know if it really went anywhere for me, but cool concept.
Is Trelawney in the other books?
If she's
Not a major character like this book.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
okay, so it really doesn't do anything. All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's up?
So this class too, I
had
think
a
it's
second
really
one.
interesting for Hermione's character because Trelawney's like, you can't work to be good at this class. Like, it's a natural thing. Like, you have to have an affinity for it.
Which is the opposite of what she's used
and
to.
yeah, Hermione's so frustrated, and I think I really relate to Hermione in these moments because I'm like, yeah, like to some extent, like I get that, but I would be frustrated too. Like, I really understood Hermione in these moments.
I think this is the class that made her break down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because later she actually like quits, which is like so not Hermione. So yeah, I guess if for Hermione's character, it's a good setup. I just don't like how they focus so freaking much on the Harry Potter, future telling, which just doesn't happen. So
Let me go ahead and say this book handles both of my previous complaints with the series.
okay.
One, Voldemort's not in it.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I know.
A different villain.
I was expecting him to turn up. Like,
Yeah.
oh God, here he comes.
dog turns into
Scabbers
Voldemort.
is gonna freaking do a seance and summon like a image of Voldemort, and Harry's
Right.
gonna trip or something, and
Yeah.
he's eventually gonna spill over and he's gonna die. Yeah,
Longtime listeners of the show know I hate Voldemort with a fiery passion.
not for the right reasons.
Not because I feel like he's a terrifying villain, but because he's the worst. He's not powerful or threatening. He's not in this one, and the book is all the better for it.
Yeah.
Thank you, JK Rowling, or whatever pseudonym you go under nowadays.
You know, this book was actually really close to not having a villain.
Yeah, it was this close.
It was really, really close.
Yeah.
I would almost go say it basically didn't have a villain. Because, like, even Scabbers, he wasn't doing anything threatening. He was
Right.
just, he had someone after him, and that's why.
And it was good at making you pity him.
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
end,
yeah.
because he's like, he has to go back to Voldemort, and Voldemort's not pleased with him.
Right, exactly.
And
So
he's so
kinda dead either
he's
way.
so pathetic at the end of the book. Like nobody wants anything to do with him. Neither
Yeah.
Sirius or Lupin. Ron for sure doesn't. Hermione. So I found that part I wanted to read real quick.
Uh-huh.
So he goes crawling to Ron, and then he's like, you know, Ron, haven't I been a good friend, a good pet? You won't let them kill me, Ron, will you? You're on my side, aren't you?
He's like, ugh.
But Ron was staring at Pettigrew with the utmost revulsion.
Dude, I saw his face
And I
when
was like,
reading that.
I was like, what were you thinking? Like, dude, like Ron
Well,
hates...
he saved Ron for, I think he saved Harry for last or Ron for last. I think he saved Harry for
Yeah,
last.
but like Ron hates everybody. Just like, really, dude? Like,
This is the one person.
yeah. What do you think Ron would say?
Oh, man, that was a great scene. But
that was pretty good.
going forward, you want to talk about Quidditch, because that does turn up pretty quickly in this book.
Well, the other thing I wanted to address was that Harry Potter actually did something.
Okay.
Okay, so
Let's get the record straight. Everyone listening, he did something. Thank
he
God.
finally cast a spell on his own.
Okay.
Okay, he
What-
learned a spell,
Yeah.
and he cast it himself. Okay,
Are you talking about Patronus?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's actually unique to him, which is good. So, like, I'm sure everyone's going to learn that in the next book, but it's unique to him right now. I'm like,
Right.
that's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
like that. And
Okay.
the great thing about that spell is that he worked really, really hard for it.
Yes.
And it was out of desperation because it was to conquer a fear. It wasn't
Yeah.
because, just here's this cool thing you can do. It was like, this is this really hard. It's almost like Zuko learning lightning bending.
Right.
You know, like it's a really hard skill. You know, most people don't pick it up immediately, if at all. You know, you probably like it's better off you not knowing. But like you know, what, if you have the knack for, if you really feel like you need it, then like I'll work with you. Lupin's such a good like I'm gonna stay after class to work with the special kid. You know, like.
Well, that's why I love Lupin, was because like he was a very practical teacher.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
He didn't play. I think he was like that with everyone. Not just
Yeah.
like he didn't play
No,
favorites.
no. Like his first lesson was like Boggarts. Everybody line up. We're about to like.
Yeah, and
practice
freaking
this stuff.
Neville gets like
Yeah.
the spotlight. I'm like, that's cool. Like,
I learned some spells after his class. Yeah, ridiculous.
also, they don't reveal what the orb was it? Do they?
What are?
So he has a fear.
Yeah, the
Lupin
moon.
does. Oh my gosh, is that what it was?
Yeah, the moon. He was afraid of the moon.
Oh
'cause
my
he was gonna turn
gosh.
into a werewolf.
I had no idea. Did they reveal that?
Yeah, that was in the last few pages.
Where they talk about? Oh, okay. I completely missed that, but that makes way more sense.
Well, okay. So full disclosure, I finished this book at 9:15 a.m. I got up at 6:30 to start reading it. I had 6 chapters left.
Okay, gotcha.
So I just finished it before y'all got here.
that
So,
makes a lot of sense.
yeah. So no, the orb was the full
Okay, that makes so much
Yeah.
sense. Gosh, I love that class scene because like he even says
There was so much going on
Yeah,
that it was all in our face, but we didn't know what it meant.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, I love how the book describes basically he says ridiculous, but like so without passion.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't even phase him. Ridiculous, you know,
Yes.
like it goes. And then like it's been the orb every single time. And
Yeah.
they're like, what the heck does that mean?
Same thing when Snape took over Lupin's class. He's like, today we're going to talk
Yeah.
about werewolves, you know, and then he makes everyone write that essay.
Dude,
Yep.
oh my gosh, you're right.
Did you miss that too?
No, I know Hermione talks about that, but
Yeah.
like I know, I don't know. For some reason, hearing it said out loud, you know, like is more helpful than just reading it, I guess. But
Sure.
like now I'm realizing, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that does make
The whole book is foreshadowing.
because like they
and
do
I love
reveal,
it.
oh Snape is. That's the thing. Like he's like giving the potion, or he's giving the potion to Lupin over and over again. Like, okay,
Yeah.
that's the werewolf tonic, right? But like the fact that everything is setting up is really cool. I love how Lupin expects Harry's fear to be Voldemort, and Voldemort's like, no, It's freaking voice. The only scary things in my life right now are these Dementors. Oh, all right then.
I'm the same way. It's like my biggest
is
fear
anyone
is not
scared of Voldemort anymore?
No. Yeah.
That's so hilarious. But yeah, they even like so it shows that Harry is like a better character because he's not freaking scared of the thing that he's beaten 3 times. Like he's past that. He's beyond that now. He's really very much scared of the thing that gives him dread, which I think is way more believable.
Yeah.
And it interferes with his Quidditch, which is really the only thing that's getting him through school. Let's face it.
Right. Yeah, because he's a star of the football team. That's the only reason he's passing his classes.
So speaking of Quidditch, though, we talked about this like briefly before we finished the book.
Yeah.
But there's a scene with Hermione, and she bails him out. And it's really stupid because...
All right, Sydney, agree or disagree with me.
This really shows...
Harry Potter is not a good wizard because he's sucking at Quidditch because it's raining. Okay? So he crashes and burns, right before he breaks his broom.
Yeah.
Right.
And Hermione comes out of the shadows. She's wearing her
just
hood.
Like, literally, hey...
Yeah. Hey, Harry, guess what? I know this magic spell that will keep the rain from bouncing onto your glasses. So she casts it on him, and then he flies away and wins the game. Okay. Why couldn't Harry think of that himself?
Well, I mean, I think whenever you look at the dynamic between Ron, Hermione, and Harry, you see that, like, he is not the brains of the group. Like, Hermione is the brains of the group.
I agree.
She's the mastermind, she's the quarterback, she is the CEO of that friend group.
Okay, but you know what I'm saying?
But think about this. This is the school for magic.
Yes.
And you literally cannot survive unless you learn this magic. This isn't like,
that's right.
Oh, well, I was, like, I read one too many textbooks about, chemistry, and now, like, I can give that to my friends. Like, what if the entire school was chemistry? That's really bad if you can't think of a simple spell.
Here's my thing. Hermione, I really appreciate all the work you've done, but I thought I was reading Harry Potter. Okay.
Oh, I forgot he's a Sim.
Oh, yeah, White Knight.
White Knight. Yeah, I think this actually was like more of Hermione's arc than anything. Yeah. Well, actually, no, I take that back. Harry did have an arc, I will say that.
He did.
But
okay.
Hermione definitely did have...
To his credit, he cast a Patronus spell on his own, no help. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I'm proud of him.
And he tried and tried and tried and tried. I was like, okay, so he actually does have quite a bit of development. I think it's 50-50 split between him and Hermione. I don't think Ron got that much development.
Oh, no. Hermione whipped out the MacGuffin at the end and was like, okay, you ready to fix the book?
Oh, gosh.
Freaking Dumbledore. He's like, okay, if only we had some more time. Yeah.
Dumbledore. Let's go with Hermione. So, like, she takes, at the very beginning, more classes than anyone. And, like, they kind of point out, like, oh, that's a lot of classes. Oh, no, but I need to. I want to take this. What the heck are you studying muggles for? You are a muggle. It's like, oh, well, like, you never know what you might find out, And then everyone thinks it's innocent at first. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then, like, you really start to see, like, the bad fruits of it.
Yeah.
Her just starting to, like, kind of break down and, like, snap. And it shows real life pressure, I think. Yeah. Really well.
Yeah.
Especially from a child's perspective, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, she breaks down in tears plenty of times.
Yeah. Well, it's like, holy crap. Yeah. And then, like, Ron is just such a piece of work.
Yeah, he's a jerk.
My rat!
I love Ron, but he's kind of mean.
My gosh.
What do you think, Sydney?
I love Ron.
So to put this in perspective, so I teach 8th grade. They're in 8th grade in this book.
Oh, cool. That's
so, like,
perfect.
7th graders in the Chamber of Secrets, like, that just blows my mind, because I'm like, 7th graders in my class, like glue. So,
well, let's not put it past Harry.
True. Hermione is just, like, doing what Hermione does best. I think the book definitely sets it up for, like, how she's been taking so many classes and, like, the toll it has on her. The book definitely sets that up, because in the movie she's like she's happy, she's chipper. They don't really show it kind of until, like, the very end. I think is really whenever it starts to show. So that kind of was a gap in the plot a little bit. Ron is much different in the book than in the movie. Like, the movie, they portray him as this, like, stupid, like, he can't do anything. He agrees with Snape whenever he calls her a know-it-all. But, like, in the book, him and the class, like, they totally are pissed at Snape because of how he talks to Hermione in that one scene and calling her a know-it-all.
So, yeah, that was the book, right? When everyone was
Yes.
like, holy crap, dude,
Yeah.
chill out. Like, even I think that, but, like, you can't just say that.
Right. I just think that, Hermione's still doing what Hermione does, and that is, be the backbone of that friend group.
What I love about that scene is that I can see both ends. Like, I think Hermione at one point had to be told that.
Sure.
But, like, also to see all the kids, like, rally behind her, like, that was also really cool to see. Even though Ron was pissed at her at the time. For him to be like, no, like, I don't actually mean it,
Sydney, what do you think about Snape's development in this book? Did he get any?
He was meaner in this book.
I would agree.
Worse.
I would
really?
agree. He,
I don't think he really did anything that was, like, redeeming in this book. Which is a shame, because I really like it when he does look a little redeeming things. It shows that Harry doesn't know everything about Snape. And at the very beginning of this book, he straight up says he hates Snape.
Yeah.
And at the first, I was like, where'd that come from? Because, like, he learned in book 1 that Snape saved his life and that his father saved his life at one point. So, obviously, Snape targets Harry, but, like, when did that hate development come in? And even in book 2, they didn't really interact a whole lot.
Right.
Snape was actually a little helpful in that book, if I remember correctly. He didn't really, like, bother Harry that much. So I don't know where the hate came from, but it doesn't really get resolved in this book either. Because Snape really is just, like, really jerky for whatever reason. Yeah. Like, especially so in this book.
Yeah.
And it turns out it's kind of for a silly reason. He has, like, a grudge against, like, a few people, which is, like, fair. But
yeah, I agree.
I don't know.
It
seems below him.
I don't have any problems with this book.
Really?
I honestly think it's almost like her best one. I think it's well put together. It's got the pacing pretty much down.
Yeah.
At the end again, we get to where everyone's like just dropping all the exposition. But
that got a little tiring.
But it wasn't as bad as last book, where literally Tom Riddle was like sitting there reading the plot to the audience.
He has the script.
Yeah.
Okay, so little gripes I have. Professors are freaking idiots. Okay, like
Which ones?
Dude.
I mean,
Okay,
other than Hagrid,
this is
but
where I
Hippogriffs.
realized. This is where I freaking realized it. When freaking Sirius Black is confirmed to be in the school, okay,
Right.
they somehow got all past the Dementors, the impenetrable defenses, and he slashed. It's when he originally slashed the fat lady's picture, right?
Yeah.
Holy crap! He's in the school. Well, children, we checked the castle. Seems clear. Go about your business. Go about your business. Nothing here. Nothing to see here. And then Ron claims to see Sirius Black in the Gryffindor common room, next to his bed, with a knife, and no one believes him. Why is that impossible? They said, no, you're idiot. That's impossible. That's not. What are you talking about? You have a freaking serial killer in the school that you did not catch.
Yeah.
And you cannot confirm that he's gone. Why is everyone not on, like, super high alert? And why are you not believing every person who sees Black?
They took it more seriously in the last book.
The last book, yeah, they took it incredibly seriously.
Yeah.
They're like, holy crap, like, these children are stoned,
Yeah.
But this one, it's like, no, Ron, you had a nightmare. Everyone said he had a nightmare. I'm like, are you kidding me right now?
Right.
And Ron's even like, no, look at he freaking slashed, like, the curtain, like, dude, like, he's totally here. And then
I see what you mean.
So, and then, like, they freaking appoint the worst. How does the freaking picture thing work? Because then I'm like, oh, how did he break through? Oh, maybe because you gave the authority of opening and closing the door to just, like, the most incompetent, what are they, ghosts or portrait?
Yeah.
What do you call them? Portrait?
They're ghosts.
Portrait ghosts?
but
I'm going to
they're
call them portrait ghosts.
Animated portraits.
Okay.
Yeah.
The animated portrait. Why would you give that to him? I don't even know
Yeah.
Sir, what's his name? The Knight, essentially.
That guy was funny.
He was funny, but, like, these are children's lives. Why?
They fired him.
After
And they put the fat lady
he let the
back.
serial killer in. They fired him.
What do you think, Sydney? You think teachers were dumb this time?
It was hilarious because I love the idea of firing the picture. But also, like, I could not believe the incompetency of these teachers. Like, with a killer in the school who has a knife. Just, like...
Yeah.
Super crazy. That's really the only, like, big example, and also Hagrid, but...
How'd you feel, Sydney? Did you feel the same way?
About
The teachers? Were they incompetent?
on one hand, yeah, I did. I completely understand, like, where you're coming from as far as, like, why are you not believing Ron whenever he says that he saw him. On the other hand, like, from a teacher's perspective, you have to balance, like, student safety with
Yeah.
like wanting to make sure that like you're still doing your job as best you can. So like I get it, like they're trying to make sure that okay, we keep calm demeanor, like we go through things, you know, rationally. We're not, you know, believing every single tip that comes in our way.
I'm kind of
guess
with
that-
you, and I was gonna say, like, I don't know what you expected them to
Well,
do
no.
this time,
It's not that I
because-
said the school should be shut down.
For sure.
It's that the fact that, okay, if they look at the pattern that Sirius Black is following, he's clearly after Harry. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
He has tried to get into the Gryffindor common room already. Everyone knows that. If someone says he's in the common room, I'm sorry, all hands on deck. Not
Yeah.
go back to bed. You're having a nightmare. You stupid child. You know,
Right.
like that's what I'm saying. That's when I'm sorry. Like I didn't have this problem up until that point. That's when I was like, oh, this doesn't make
I
any
agree.
sense.
I agree with that.
Everything else, I totally get it. You have to keep the school going, especially since like this is just very you know like
Because they don't even have the Dementors go in and look at it.
no like not well yeah because like Dumbledore's like no Dementors in the school.
I get
I'm
that,
like,
but hold on. Just
Yeah,
give me
yeah.
5. Tell them to
Just
go.
give me 5.
Just give me 5.
yeah, just
Dementors.
it's like sending exterminators in. Like get all the
Yeah.
kids out, send them in there for an hour.
Yeah.
But nothing
And then
happens.
and
And then they don't do even when
Get
they
'em out.
confirm Sirius Black was there. Nothing happens after that.
Yeah.
They're like, oh crap. Well, let's just go back to bed. Like nothing
Right.
really gets done.
Yeah.
And I get it. Sirius Black wasn't actually trying to murder anyone, but in their mindsets, I'm talking about these teachers. Like in their mindset, like holy crap, dude! Like this guy literally was about to murder a child. So like
Yeah.
he was this close. And what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
Whatever. We'll see.
I don't know. She addressed my biggest complaints with
Mm-hmm.
Harry Potter and Voldemort. This
So
time.
yeah, let's cover the end real quick.
Sure.
Because we're getting close on time.
Yeah.
So the reveal of Sirius adding up. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier. I didn't really get Hogsmeade doesn't really matter a whole lot, but getting to the end, Harry has built up this absolute hatred for Sirius Black, like actual hatred. Like I'm going to kill this man. He's basically made up his mind. Kind of what I was getting at earlier in the book when like he's sort of showing like these signs of aggression, hostility, the capabilities of being a killer. He straight up says, "I'm going to basically kill Sirius Black."
And then he tries to disarm him with his bare hands.
Like, but like, think about it. Like, he says he disregards all magic. He basically is like he forgets about magic. He forgets about everything. He just wants to kill this man.
Sure.
With his hands. I'm
Yes.
like, holy crap!
Well, I was sitting here like,
this kid.
did Sirius Black let him do it? Because I was confused. I was like, how did they take down a grown man?
Yeah, and Sirius was like, he turns out to be such a nice guy, but he's like, yes, and I'm going to do it again. Essentially, like he doesn't. He puts on the murderous persona.
Yeah, he starts out like he could have easily said, "Wait, hold on."
No, like
Peter Pettigrew's.
they kept
your
on
rat.
playing this game where it was like, just like okay. They go into the exposition where Lupin starts explaining everything, like super big exposition moment.
Yeah.
But they save the Sirius isn't a killer until the very end.
Right.
So this whole time Harry's like, I'm going to kill this man, I'm going to kill
Yeah.
this man. I don't care what you're saying, I'm going to kill this man. Then he's like, he's not a killer. It was scabbards. It's just
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about? And then like there was a back and forth of who do I trust? Even as a reader,
Yeah.
if you didn't know what was the outcome was going to be, I didn't. Who do I trust right
Right.
now? What if they are in cahoots?
I like Snape, so I was like, I trust Snape. No, they knocked him out.
No, they knocked him out. I misread the Patronus part a little bit. I thought Snape saved Harry, but I misread that.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, which was a shame because I was like, oh, that would have been a good redeeming arc. But
No redemption here for Snape.
no, Snape was basically his own. That's what I'm saying. His only motivation was to get even.
Yeah.
Which I'm like,
Don't worry, there's still 4 more books.
I hope
There's time.
I know he gets better probably, but I'm like, I wish it was a deeper reason than that.
Yeah.
But still, it was really cool. Love Sirius Black. I was so happy for Harry.
Keep in mind, Snape has reason to keep people at a distance. He doesn't want people to get close. He doesn't want people to care about him or care.
No,
about
I get his. No, I'm not
Yeah.
dissing his personality.
Right.
I'm not happy about him just kind of his only motivation being I'm getting even with these people who
Right.
played a prank on me. Essentially, it was like.
All
really
right, you know, I
think
wouldn't
about
put it that way. It's a very thinly
Yeah.
written plot.
So yeah, that's why I was like, come on, Snape. But no, I was so happy for Harry because like it ripped my heart out because like Sirius was like, you know what? I know you probably don't want to, but if you want to live with me, like I'm your guardian. If you don't want me as your guardian anymore, I totally understand. But like, I am your guardian. I'll take care of you. And then Harry's like, I feel the emotion. He's like, absolutely, please. What are you talking about? Of course, I'll go with you. And he gets ripped away.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that was like a sort of like because like, I don't think the books really relate to each other that much right now. I don't know if that was just a like palate cleanser.
Right.
Like the fact that he flies away on the Gryffindor, but on the Griffin, what was it?
Hippogriff.
Hippogriff, sorry. On the Hippogriff at the end. I was like,
You
I was
clown.
I was sorry.
How do you not know?
I'm sorry.
You're not a Potter fan.
I'm not. I was
right, we
really
gotta wrap up.
I was really looking forward to him to spending time with Sirius. I hope it comes back.
Oh, yeah. Me too. Such
Yeah.
a strong character. Hope he comes back. Hope nothing happens. All right. Now we're back to where we need to be. Mm-hmm. We got chocolate frogs. I hope you enjoy this because they were very expensive. Here you go.
What's very expensive?
They were $5 each.
These are $5.
$5 whole dollars.
Not like $1.99.
They did not come off the trolley.
No. Actually, I understand why Ron couldn't afford them when they were on the trolley. If this hops away from me, I'm going to cry.
Honestly.
If it touches the ground.
Okay, what
it
character did you get, huh?
Oh, yeah, it comes with a character, huh?
What character did you get? I got the best one.
I
But
can't wait to see. Oh, look. Garrick Ollivander, the guy that sells wands. See?
What'd you get?
I got freaking Merlin, dude.
Oh, yeah, me too. I was like, I got Dumbledore, and then I was gonna make a reference to
If
it.
Ron was here, he'd be like, oh, I got Dumbledore again. Same way Charlie Brown gets a rock every time for Halloween. Okay, that's fine. We don't have to count down.
So,
Oh shoot, I'm sorry. So sorry. Can I just say though, this is my closing remark. Something that I had a huge gripe with in the movie from the book to movie is that they don't talk about how the Shrieking Shack and the Whomping Willow were part of Dumbledore's plan to help Lupin like navigate his werewolf curse, right? So that kind of made me
Really?
frustrated because I thought that was a really cool. I thought it was cool. Like
it was
again,
cool. It was a cool tie back to the last book. Because now I'm like, holy crap! It was a big deal when they ran the car into it.
Sure.
So yeah, she's getting a lot better with connecting her books and her story. Really interested to see where it goes.
Okay, I agree. They keep cutting out key details that add a lot of backstory to characters.
But they keep all the stupid details that no one cares about.
Yeah, or add it. Like that one part
Really?
where the fat lady, she like denies them entry and she sings and breaks the glass. That's not in the book at all. What? So why did they waste time on that and like not, include other scenes?
I bet it was built for laughs. It's usually probably for laughs or whatever.
Right.
I really want a prequel series.
A prequel series?
About Voldemort's rise to power.
Yeah, I
I
can
would
see
find it
that.
very interesting.
I
might figure out why he's so threatening.
I want to know more about his organization because like we haven't met like any of his like true followers yet. We've met like people who serve him, I guess, but like not the people that they're talking about, not the people that they made Sirius sound like.
Right.
Because you said at the very beginning that there are some people, like, you meet characters who did serve Voldemort or do serve for Voldemort. I'm really looking forward to those
I'm
characters.
talking about Lucius Malfoy.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. No, there's more.
It was basically confirmed in this book that he kind of still serves Voldemort.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, we already knew that, but like,
Yeah, we knew that.
Sirius basically said he's like all that bull crap about them making believe that they don't serve him anymore. I'm like, holy crap! Well,
Did you not see how evil Lucius was in the last book?
No, it's one of those things like the audience knew it, but they didn't really confirm it until like now. It's like, oh
Right.
crap! Like,
But no one's going to listen to Sirius because he's crazy.
right, dude. It makes me mad that Sirius isn't getting his name cleared. He deserves it.
Justice for Sirius.
Justice for Sirius. Shut up, Caleb. Don't give me those spoiler eyes. Put those away.
I'm just looking at you.
Shut up. No.
All right.
Take it back.
All right, guys, that's it for this episode. We might have to start splitting these up into two-parters because we're
There was a lot of... Okay, the books
Yeah.
are getting bigger.
way bigger.
Way
Yep.
bigger.
And
the next one's really big.
It's huge. And
So-
there's no way we can't talk about it in 2 episodes.
Yeah. Because, there were a lot of details I think I wanted to go over, but...
Yeah, and also it helps that you didn't retain any of the information from the beginning. So,
Sorry.
yeah, I know. I bet you are. You're still eating that?
It's good, okay.
You nibble it?
Yeah, nibbling.
All right, guys, say bye to Hulk. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us, Sydney.
You're welcome.
All right, see y'all next time, guys.
Bye.